Just a few years ago, the Mortgage Bankers Association said that 65% of all loans have the terms changed between when they applied for the loan and when they actually closed. 65%. That is a ton of scenarios where someone thinks they have one thing and they have something else. So is that frustrating? Absolutely. I've got Bruce Dodd here with ChattMortgage that's going to be helping us out and help us figure out this path of how do you choose a lender and what's important along the way. Thank you for watching the Chattanooga Real Estate Pulse. So Bruce, today we're talking about how do you choose a lender? And I want to start out with this stat that we just said. 65%, a couple years ago, 65% of all loans, the terms changed. The rate changed, the closing costs changed, when they could close changed, the down payment changed. I mean, I'm sure there's a list of other things, how much reserves you have to have, like on and on and on and on. Can we start out with just a simple question on why on earth does 65% of loans out there, do consumers have to go through a change like that?
Well, there's a whole host of reasons, but the part of it is when you look at lenders and you look at how do they acquire business. I'm a lender, it's 100% referrals. Mm-hmm. That's it.
Yep.
I don't have another strategy. So a lot of lenders these days are online lenders.
Right.
And so they're not going to have to run into you at the grocery store. They're not going to see you on the ball field. They're going to do a deal today in Chattanooga, a deal tomorrow in Cincinnati, a deal next day in Lexington, Kentucky. So part of it is when you look at what type of lender is it, how do they acquire business, what's important to them. However, let's think about this. The average person does a mortgage every 7.2 years.
Okay.
Every 7.2 years. It's not like buying a pizza where you have lots of experience, you know what to look for, you know what kind of things are important. Mm-hmm. So I would always say the number one way to pick a lender is to listen to your realtor, because realtors deal with mortgage lenders every day.
That's a good plug, right? Thank you, Bruce. Pay you later, right? But no. But what Bruce means by that, and I'll give the real estate version. We just learned recently, we're in 2024 now. We recently learned in 2023, 49% of realtors sold one or less, which is one or zero homes. That's in the country. 49% of all realtors. And you think, okay, basically half of the agents out there are doing two or more, which isn't like this huge number to get excited about. But the same goes for loan officers as well. Like there's tons of loan officers out there that don't do a lot of business. Mm-hmm. And they're basically 100% commission and they do it part-time, or online lenders that are they're throwing out these crazy offers to hook you, but then you find out that, well, yes, that can be done, but you don't want to do it. Yeah, but you don't actually want to do that because here's why.
That was our Wednesday deal.
That was the Wednesday deal, yeah.
So what's important is I think talking to others, listen to your realtor. A good realtor that's a full-time realtor doing business every day.
Yeah, start with the right realtor.
Has lots of experience in terms of lenders.
Yeah, I wish more people would interview agents. Like there's just so many consumers out there that work with the agent that they just picked up the phone, they called off of a sign, and somehow they're magically their realtor. But you should use that realtor to open up a door if that's where you're started because you're excited. But before you decide to proceed with that agent, you should interview that agent, because that agent is going to be the resource for you that's going to say, hey, this is the loan officer you should consider talking to. This is the home inspector you should talk to. This is the insurance company. And it should be based off of experience. Like, they've done 10s, 20s, 30s of loans each year, deals each year. And they get to see, hey, most of my consumers have been very happy with this service provider in this field, right? Absolutely. So we want to consider that. Now, specific to mortgage, when it comes to choosing a lender, and yes, the realtor should help. Thank you for the plug, Bruce. But at the same time, though, what should the consumers be looking out for? Like, because today I could call you, I could call local credit union, I could go to where I bank at, I could go online. What might be like the key three things that we should be looking for?
Here's a couple things. When you talk to a lender like us, we're an independent lender. All we do is mortgages. I don't do credit cards one day.
Right.
I don't do car loans one day. I'm not balancing somebody's checking account the next day. That's all we do. That's all we do.
We're a specialist in a certain area.
That's it.
Why does that matter though? Because as a normal consumer, you just assume we fill an application and you give us a loan.
Because if you think about it, there's so many things that are important, but the number one thing in the market today is there's not enough inventory.
Right.
There's not enough inventory.
There's not enough houses to choose from.
There's not. And so if we want to buy a house, we want to find the right house, and then we want to be able to actually get our contract accepted. And so the reality of it is who you're represented by matters, and matters who your realtor is. I know I keep banging that drum, but it absolutely does. Matters who your lender is. I started our operation here in 2009. I've been a Chattanooga guy for, I guess, 15 years now. Now I'm starting to feel old. But, and we've done a lot of business. Out of the last 1,425 loans, we've closed on time 97.25% of the time.
That's pretty good.
Now, that includes new construction. That includes FHA deals where there was a repair. That includes title issues. That's every deal. So essentially that says we close on time every time unless there's an issue with property.
Yeah.
So
Bruce is not in the stats of 65% of terms change.
No.
Right.
No.
Right.
With us, if things change by more than a couple $100, you're never going to know because I'll just pay for it because we take care of that. Now, sometimes things do change a little bit because let's say you were going to close on the 29th of the month. We get it done early and you're going to close on the 15th. Well, now I'm paying a little bit more interest because I'm closing early. Yeah. Things like that do occur. Yeah. However, big changes shouldn't occur unless you as a borrower have changed. But I think one of the important things when you look at lenders is I think you should pick a local lender every time.
Yeah, I want to drive that home really hard because representing buyers and sellers on our team, here's when let's take the buyer hat off for a second, put the seller hat on. When we list a home, and let's say it's a solid home, a lot of people love it, it's priced correctly, and next thing you know, we get multiple offers, right? This is still happening in 2024. We're getting multiple offers on great listings, and what it turns out to look like is the sea of sameness on paper. We have this offer that let's say is $400,000 and they're getting a loan and they're not asking for closing costs. And then we have this one that's $410,000. And you may think, okay, $410,000 sounds better, but they're asking for $10,000 in closing costs for the seller to pay it. So it nets the seller the same amount. And then there's a variety of all these different offers. And so at the end, some of these look like they net out the same, or we have agents saying their buyers are willing to go up to win the deal. So we have multiple people saying, we'll pay for the house to get it. With the seller hat on, the seller may not always think it, and this is where the great agent comes into play. We start to dissect, how is this deal actually going to get to the finish line? And one of the biggest pieces is what lender are they using? If this one says I'm getting a lending offer from some online bank that we know falls in that 65% of terms change, buyers are unhappy, they walk away from the deal because they didn't get what they thought they were going to get. Or we have this other one that's a maybe local bank that is in their hometown on the other side of Tennessee, 6 hours away, and they don't have a relationship with the appraiser or the agents or know the title or understand the process. And then we have a third one that's working with a local lender like Bruce at ChattMortgage, and the listing agent knows the lender, and there's accountability there because if I'm the listing agent and Bruce has the loan and something changes, Bruce doesn't want to disappoint me because he wants me to keep sending business to him, right? Mm-hmm. And so when I look at these three options and I explain to my seller, in this sea of sameness on paper, everything looks very similar. But there's some leverage here because this lender wants to perform for us more than just getting the loan. They want to keep a good reputation in town, right? And so we're going to lean towards that. We just had one of the top luxury agents in town. I know you know her well. And she had listed a property, multiple offers. Tony Britton on our team had submitted an offer. It was like $850,000. There was another offer that was higher by about $8,000. and that agent decided to recommend to their seller, we go with the deal that the Edrington team brought to them because you were on the loan. And to think about the fact that to a lot of us, it's like $8,000 is a lot of money. But at the same time, we don't always know the seller's situation. In this particular case, there's a job change. They have to move on a certain date. Think of it like insurance. They're like, I'd rather not take $8,000 and feel confident that we're going to go to close versus roll the dice like in Vegas and say, hey, let's risk if I can earn $8,000 more.
And we see that every week. We see that
all
every
the
week.
time.
The other thing is these days, and I believe it's going to get worse. I mean, because I don't think the inventory situation is going to get dramatically better.
It's going to improve, but I don't think it's going to be the
Not
floodgates aren't
dramatically.
opening this year. Right?
Not dramatically. And so if you're working with a lender like us, then let's say that seller was under contract for a house, needs to close super fast. Well, we can make that happen. Let's say that they want to stay in the property a while. So what we'll often do is reach out to that agent for you guys and find out what's it going to take to get this transaction. What is going to make your seller happier? Is a super fast close? Do we need to do something around any of the other terms in the contract? What can we do? But often a local lender can do some of those things. We can make it happen faster. We can get the appraisal done quicker so that appraisal contingency can go away. We can make the financing contingency super short, even if it's a longer close. So there's all kinds of things we can do for you to help you get under contract that 1-800-lender.com ain't gonna do.
No, we've experienced it too.
No.
So, all right, I'm sure you have a lot of questions about lending, but today we want to talk about who you need to choose and why. I think it's clear a local lender makes sense. Definitely Bruce Dodd over at ChattMortgage is who we like to recommend often and all the time, almost for every situation. What's great about Bruce too is if there is an oddball situation that he can't do, he will tell you who to go to, and we appreciate that very much. Versus trying to hang on to everything and try it. It's either you can or you say it could be risky. You need to talk to this person.
If we're not going to be the best at doing something, we'll get you to that person that is.
Yeah, absolutely. So comment below. Let us know if you have any questions, if you have any thoughts. Appreciate you following the Chattanooga Real Estate Pulse. Make sure to subscribe, give us a like, and give Bruce Dodd over at ChattMortgage a shout when you're ready to make the move, or call me or my team and we'll help make the introduction for you. Thanks for watching.